Flat. The flat route is one of the simplest yet most important routes in football. It's designed for speed, timing, and creating easy completions. On a flat, the receiver, often a running back, tight end, or slot receiver, takes a quick release off the line and heads directly toward the sideline at 1 to 3 yards of depth. There's no hesitation, no complex footwork, just a quick burst to get open in space. This route is all about creating mismatches. When a linebacker is tasked with covering a shifty back or tight end running a flat, the receiver almost always has the advantage. Quarterbacks love this route because it's a high percentage throw, a short, quick pass with minimal risk, often used to gain easy yards or set up second and manageable situations. The flat is often paired with other routes to create coverage stress. For example, a deep curl or go route on the outside pulls defenders back, leaving the flat wide open underneath. Offensive coordinators use these combinations, known as flood concepts, to stretch the defense horizontally and vertically at the same time. While the flat is a safe route, it can be deadly in the right hands. Think of running backs like Christian McCaffrey or Alvin Kamara, players who can catch the ball in space and turn a simple flat into a big gain. Defenses often assign linebackers to cover the flat, but if they're too slow to react, that 2-yard route can quickly turn into a 20-yard play. In short, the flat is the foundation of many passing concepts. It's simple, fast, and forces defenses to cover every blade of grass. Mastering the flat sets the stage for more complex route combinations and keeps drives alive. Slant route. The slant route is one of the quickest hitting and most dangerous plays in football. The receiver takes just 3 to 5 steps off the line of scrimmage before breaking sharply at about a 45-degree angle across the field. It's a simple concept, but its effectiveness comes from speed, precision, and the ability to attack the middle of the defense before it has time to react. Against man coverage, the slant gives receivers a natural advantage. By stemming directly at the defender and breaking inside, the receiver forces the corner to fight through the body to stay in position. A quick first step combined with clean footwork can create instant separation. Against zone coverage, the slant finds soft spots between linebackers and safeties, turning a short throw into a chance for big yards after the catch. Offenses rarely run a slant in isolation. It becomes even more lethal when paired with complementary routes. A deep post or seam pulls the safety back, keeping him from jumping into the slant window. A drag route underneath forces linebackers to step forward, creating a perfect pocket of space for the receiver to cut into. These route combinations, often called high-low concepts, make the slant nearly impossible to cover. Elite receivers in the NFL treat the slant like a craft. Players often use different step counts depending on coverage and keep their shoulders square as long as possible to disguise the break. This prevents defenders from anticipating the move and gives the quarterback a clean throwing lane. The timing between quarterback and receiver has to be exact. The ball is often thrown before the break is even finished. Defenses have their counters. They may line up with inside leverage, forcing the receiver to fight harder to win the inside angle. Some coordinators use trap coverages where corners bait the quarterback into throwing the slant and then jump the route for an interception. Still, when executed with speed and timing, the slant remains one of the most reliable and explosive routes in football. Comeback. The comeback route is one of football's most precise and demanding plays. The receiver pushes vertically 18 to 20 yards downfield, forcing the cornerback to turn and sprint as if defending a deep route. Then, in an instant, the receiver plants, drops his hips, and breaks back toward the sideline at a sharp 45-degree angle. It looks like the receiver is bailing out of a deep sprint, but in reality, it's a carefully choreographed move to create separation. This route works because of psychology. Defenders fear getting beaten deep. A fast receiver sells the vertical threat, and by the time the cornerback commits, the receiver is already coming back to the ball. The break is sudden, and unless the defender anticipates it, there's almost no time to recover. But the comeback isn't just about the receiver. It demands perfect timing from the quarterback. The ball must be released before the receiver makes his break. If it comes late, the defender has time to close the gap. Or worse, the receiver runs out of sideline real estate. Quarterbacks and receivers drill this play over and over to sync up the exact depth, footwork, and release point. Offenses often pair comebacks with deep corner or go routes on the opposite side. This forces safeties to stay deep, leaving the cornerback isolated one-on-one. Without that extra deep route, a defense could easily pass off the coverage and drop a defender into the curl zone, sitting right in the comeback window. Elite receivers refine their comebacks by using their body as a shield. They'll position themselves between the defender and the football, turning their shoulders toward the sideline so the defender can't undercut the throw. Quarterbacks are taught to place the ball high and outside, letting the receiver catch it at its highest point. This reduces the risk of interceptions, since trailing defenders struggle to contest high throws. Defenses do have answers. Some corners use press bail techniques, jamming the receiver early and then retreating to take away the deep threat in the comeback window. Others disguise coverages with late rotating safeties, who can jump down and sit in the curl zone. Still, when run with sharp footwork and perfect timing, the comeback remains one of the hardest routes to defend in football. Curl or hook. The curl route, often called a hook or button hook, is a short to intermediate route built on deception. The receiver sprints 12 to 15 yards straight downfield, selling the illusion of a vertical threat. Then, instead of continuing to the sideline like on a comeback, he plants his foot, drops his hips, and curls back toward the quarterback, settling into open space. What makes the curl so effective is how it attacks a soft spot between defensive zones. Linebackers usually cover the short middle, while safeties and corners are responsible for the deeper areas. That leaves a gray zone in between, and that's exactly where the curl lives. By pulling up at just the right depth, the receiver can sit down in this pocket of space before a defender has time to react. Curls often pair with a deep post route on the same side. This creates a high-low read for the quarterback. The safety has to choose, stay deep to defend the post or jump the curl. If the safety stays back, the curl is wide open. If he crashes forward, the quarterback lofts the ball over the top to the post. Either way, the defense loses. For the receiver, the key is to convincingly sell the go route. Corners are taught to keep their hips turned and eyes locked downfield against speed. If the receiver can force the defender to commit upfield, that's the perfect moment to snap back on the curl. The sudden stop creates instant separation. Defenses counter curls with clever tricks like using a robber safety. A robber lines up deep but then jumps forward into the curl window once the ball is snapped. This often leads to interceptions if the quarterback doesn't recognize the disguise. Other times, defenses rely on timing. Linebackers wall off the middle, or corners sit in zone coverage ready to pounce on the curl the moment the receiver turns back. Executed with good timing and sharp footwork, the curl is a reliable chain mover. It may not be flashy, but it's one of the most efficient routes in football, quietly punishing defenses that fail to protect the middle of the field. Out route. The out route, sometimes called a down and out or jet route, is all about sharp precision. The receiver pushes vertically 10 to 15 yards, forcing the defender to backpedal before planting hard and breaking at a 90-degree angle toward the sideline. That sudden change of direction creates a clean throwing lane along the boundary. This route punishes defenders who play inside leverage. Corners often line up shaded toward the middle of the field to take away slants and crossing patterns. When the receiver cuts outside instead, the defender is suddenly on the wrong hip, giving the quarterback a safe window to deliver the ball near the sideline. The out is especially effective in 2-minute drills. Because the catch happens near the sideline, the receiver can step out of bounds and stop the clock. That makes it one of the go-to plays for late-game drives where every second counts. Offenses often pair the out with a corner route on the same side. This creates a conflict for the defensive back. Sit shallow to cover the out or drop deep to cover the corner. Either choice leaves one route open, and the quarterback reads the defender to make the right throw. To run the out at a high level, receivers use the speed cut technique. They chop their steps, drop their hips, and explode off the inside foot, all while maintaining forward momentum. This prevents defenders from reading the break too early. Quarterbacks help by throwing with anticipation, releasing the ball before the receiver even makes his cut, so it arrives at the sideline the moment he turns. Out routes require chemistry and timing between the quarterback and receiver. The receiver must know exactly when to break, and the quarterback must trust the spot to throw to. Receivers also drill toe tap catches along the sideline, since the play often demands keeping both feet inbounds while securing the ball. Defenses counter outs by playing outside leverage or by sitting in cover 2, where cornerbacks hold the flats. That forces the quarterback into a tighter throwing window. Still, with precision and discipline, the out remains one of the most reliable routes in football, especially when every yard and every second matters. In or dig. The dig route, also known as an in, is a sharp cut into the heart of the defense. The receiver pushes vertically 12 to 18 yards downfield before planting and breaking at a 90-degree angle toward the middle of the field. This makes it an intermediate route that targets one of the most valuable spaces on the field, the area between linebackers and safeties. The dig works by stressing defenders at multiple levels. Against zone coverage, it finds the gap between shallow linebackers and deeper safeties. Against man coverage, it's all about creating separation with speed and crisp footwork. A well-run dig can turn into a massive gain, since receivers often catch the ball on the move with space to run. Digs are most dangerous when part of a three-level stretch concept. Pair a deep post route to occupy the safeties and a shallow drag underneath to pull linebackers forward. That leaves the dig cutting right into the soft spot in the middle. Too deep for linebackers, too shallow for safeties. It's a nightmare for defenses to cover all three at once. Defenses, of course, have counters. One is Tampa 2 coverage, a variation of cover 2 where the middle linebacker drops much deeper than normal to cover that exact space. This adjustment takes away the dig's sweet spot and forces quarterbacks into tighter windows. Safeties also use robber or buzz techniques, disguising themselves as deep defenders before suddenly jumping forward into the dig lane. Many interceptions happen this way, when the quarterback believes the route is open, but the safety undercuts it. That's why the dig is often considered a high-risk, high-reward route. When executed with good timing, it can slice a defense apart. But if the quarterback is a split second late or fails to recognize the coverage disguise, the dig can turn into a turnover just as quickly. Corner route. The corner route is a deep outside pattern that attacks the sideline. The receiver drives vertically 10 to 12 yards before breaking at a 45-degree angle toward the corner of the field. It's a high percentage throw when timed correctly, but also one of the toughest routes for a defender to cover if sold properly. The corner shines in concepts that pair short and deep routes together. In a classic smash concept, one receiver runs a short hitch while the other runs a corner over the top. The cornerback has to decide, sit shallow to protect the hitch or drop deep to protect the sideline. Either way, one receiver is left uncovered. Another popular setup is the dagger concept, pairing the corner with a dig route inside. This forces safeties into a split-second decision: cover the inside dig or help over the top on the corner. Often, the corner route isn't even the primary target. Because defenders are trained to respect the deeper threat, the corner pulls coverage with him, leaving the hitch or dig route underneath wide open. It's what coaches call a clear-out route, dangerous on its own, but even more effective at creating space for teammates. Defenses counter by using cloud coverage. Instead of dropping into a deep third, the cornerback stays shallow in a curl or flat zone. This shuts down the hitch and lets a linebacker clog the middle where the dig would normally hit. The trade-off is vulnerability on the opposite side of the field, since the defense is rolling extra coverage to stop the corner concept. Executed well, the corner route is a chain mover and a touchdown threat, especially in the red zone where the sideline becomes a weapon. Quarterbacks must place the ball with precision, high and outside away from the defender, while receivers use sharp footwork and body control to secure the catch near the boundary. Post route. The post route is a deep strike designed to attack the heart of the defense. The receiver drives vertically 8 to 12 yards before breaking at a 20 to 45-degree angle toward the goalpost, which is where the route gets its name. This cut gives the quarterback a clean throwing lane over the linebackers and challenges the safeties to cover massive ground. What makes the post so dangerous is the stress it puts on deep coverage. Against cover 2, for example, 2 safeties are splitting the field in half. If the offense runs outside receivers on vertical go routes or corners, those safeties are forced wide, leaving a huge window down the middle for the post to slip into. Against cover 3, the post can split the single high safety, especially when paired with another deep threat pulling him off balance. Offenses also use the post in dagger concepts, pairing it with a dig underneath. This creates a vertical stretch. The safety has to choose between staying back to cover the post or jumping forward to take away the dig. Either choice leaves one receiver open, and the quarterback reads the safety to make the right throw. Defenses have adjusted with tactics like deeper drops from linebackers or rotating safeties into the middle of the field. The Tampa 2 variation specifically places the middle linebacker in a deep zone, plugging the hole where posts are most effective. Other schemes disguise safeties, making it look like the middle is open before a defender drops in late to undercut the route. Even with these counters, the post remains one of the most explosive routes in football. It combines the vertical threat of a go with the precision of a cut, creating big play opportunities when timed correctly. Quarterbacks must throw with anticipation, and receivers need top-end speed plus the ability to make their break without losing momentum. When it clicks, few plays flip field position or score touchdowns faster than the post route. Go route. The go route, also called a fly, streak, or simply the vertical, is the purest test of speed in football. The receiver explodes straight downfield in a race to threaten the defense deep and stretch the field vertically. At its simplest, it's just a straight sprint, but the strategic value goes far beyond chasing touchdowns. Go routes force defenses to respect the deep ball. Even when the quarterback never intends to throw it, the vertical threat pulls safeties back and forces cornerbacks to give ground. This creates open windows underneath for routes like hitches, slants, or drags. In fact, in many play designs, the go route isn't even the first or second read. It's a way to clear space and open opportunities for teammates. But of course, when defenses slip up, the go route becomes the most devastating play in football. A blown coverage or a mistimed safety rotation can leave a receiver wide open for an easy 6. That's why you'll often see highlight reel touchdowns on go routes. Not because the offense designed it as the primary option, but because the defense failed to cover deep. Running a successful go route requires more than just speed. Receivers use subtle techniques like stacking the defender, where they angle slightly inside after they're released to pin the cornerback behind them, creating a direct path to the ball. Quarterbacks must throw with arc and timing, giving the receiver a chance to adjust while protecting the ball from the defender. Defenses typically counter with extra safety help, often a cover 2 shell or cover 4 that prioritizes deep protection. They know that a deep throw takes longer to arrive, giving defenders time to recover. Still, against elite speed receivers and accurate quarterbacks, the go route remains the ultimate home run swing, capable of changing a game in a single snap. Those are the 9 core routes every receiver learns, the foundation of the route tree. Which one do you think is toughest to defend? Drop your answer in the comments. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more football playbook lessons. See you in the next video.